Didn't really respect that.
The regular meeting of Bucyrus City Council for October the 2nd, 2018 is called to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
McKeever.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Wireball.
Here.
Trucca.
Here.
Sack.
Here.
Vogt.
Here.
Schott.
Here.
Before you have the minutes from the September 18th, 2018 regular meeting. I need a motion to accept these minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Myers, second by Mr. Trucca to accept the minutes from the September 18th, 2018 regular meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you very much. This is where we grant permission for visitors to speak, and our first, not really a visitor, but we have Police Chief Dave Kecky here with us this evening. You want to give us some annual statistics and some what's going on in the police department?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, members of council. Thank you to the audience for allowing me the opportunity to address council. This is the three-quarter mark of 2018, and I brought with me some statistical reports from the first 9 months of 2018, and for the sake of comparison, the same time period in 2017, and then a look back to 5 years ago. And I want to lead into the statistical report with some maxims of policing, and one is that police efficiency is measured by the absence of crime, not the visible evidence of our police action in dealing with crime. And we have some good news in the report, and the good news is a measure of the cooperation that we have with the citizens that we serve. And I just want to say I couldn't be more proud of our officers. The norm of conduct in Bucyrus is courtesy, compassion, and professionalism on a day-to-day basis, and it's definitely not the exception. Officer Pennington's here tonight. He does a fantastic job. He exemplifies to the public an officer who's going to lend an ear and help people in very traumatic experiences and does his level best to solve problems, and that is, I think, showing up in the numbers. And in front of you, you have something called the nature statistics. Those are the nature of the police calls we receive. And in 2018, for the first 9 months, we received 8,734 calls for service. That is 30 less than last year for the same frame time, 8,764. 5 years ago, we had 9,351 calls for service total. Comparatively, incident statistics are, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I don't spot those numbers. Third page, okay.
Third page in under nature statistics. And on the other part of the report,
Oh, this one.
you'll see incident statistics. And the incident statistics are reports that, for example, Officer Pennington, he might answer an animal call, check on a barking dog. That's a nature of a call. He doesn't have to spend an hour typing a report on that. But if he has an incident that has to go to court or something along those lines, or a traffic crash, that is an incident statistic. And a traffic crash report, for example, if he investigates a traffic crash report and issues a citation, it may take 60 to 90 minutes of time at the station, maybe longer, to fully investigate and process. Maybe even he'll have to testify in court on the matter. But total incidents, 1,836. And in 2017, in the same 9 months, we had 2,249. And 5 years ago, we had 3,033. And again, I want to emphasize the cooperation of the public, the good work of the officers, and I will also throw in at this time the Ohio Associations of Chiefs of Police, members of the Supreme Court, including retired Justice Piper, join many in the state in encouraging the public to be in opposition to issue 1. This is a reflection of the hard work of our officers, and Crawford County, these numbers in Crawford County are a testament to taking a tough stance on criminal activity and appropriate sentencing. On the other hand, we've always said we can't arrest our way out of the opiate epidemic. That does not mean not having guardrails or a tough stance on the opiate epidemic. We are a very compassionate community. We're in the midst of right now a project to seek out homeless people in our community and try to find them and direct them towards resources, for one example. Our overdoses are down, but I want to caution the public also that we've seen an increase in fatalities. We also have seen an increase in methamphetamine in the community, and the behavior related to methamphetamine has started to show up in the news as well. Our calls for mental illness or excited delirium or emotionally distorted persons has doubled in 5 years. That's bad news. Good news is our juvenile complaints have, I won't say doubled, I'll look for the number here alphabetically. Juvenile complaints have gone from 262 5 years ago to 119. And I want to mention that we have great cooperation with the school district, and that you can't measure everything the school resource officer does, but the school has instituted a leader in me program now for about 6 or 7 years. That's reflected in that. And having 1 and now 2 school resource officers will improve that juvenile complaint number even more. And I think overall, again, that goes back to what I said about the absence of crime. So I just want to remind us not to have a false sense of security. We have to take measures to prevent crime. So I want to take just a moment, catch my breath here, and look at burglary. That's 34 burglaries is too many, because for 1 victim of burglary, crime is up 1,000% for 34 people. We had 109 burglaries in 2013, and we had 34 last year, so we hit a plateau, as it were, there. Overall disturbances have gone from 239, 175 to 157. That's on the incident side. Driving under the influence, OVI, we had 14 in 2013, and we had 53 last year, and we're at 35 this year for 9 months. Animal calls and traffic enforcement, those are 2 things when we're very busy with serious calls like burglaries. Officer Pennington, how long does it take to investigate a burglary?
Well, if they break the window and stuff, you got to sit on me, dust some fingerprints in her house. Very, very aggravating when you can't get a print. Then you got can't stand here, talk to neighbors based on the thing. Then you walk around and see if anyone has cameras outside. That's another thing we do, especially if it happens in Woodlawn. You got to contact the school and see if they can pull up video. It takes 2 or 3 hours minimum for a good report and fingerprints, easily.
And I'd also add it would take then follow-up the next day and possibly another day. And I want to sincerely apologize to the public. One of the things, by having a high workload on crimes like that, sometimes we just don't have enough time for people to follow up with people involved and give them phone calls as much as we'd like. We do try our best to keep the public informed after events, because it's traumatic for somebody to have property damage in a burglary and their property violated, or their domicile violated. When we see a reduction in things like burglary, we do see an increase in traffic enforcement, and then we start looking at things like animal calls. That's where I was going with the comparison. So our OVI enforcement has gone up, which is good because we want safe streets, and we want to see a reduction in injury crashes and a reduction in crashes overall. Unfortunately, traffic crashes have gone up to 148. Fortunately, only 15 have had injuries compared to 33 5 years ago. So Overall, I think the news is pretty good. Aside from the statistical report, I want to thank the public for its continued support and the school district for its cooperation. I'll entertain questions about the numbers, but I have a few other things. Does anyone have any questions about what they see? Yes?
Yes.
Can we please get a copy of that? We don't have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess maybe a question, just basic questions about police officers. Do all of our officers now have the cameras, the body cameras on them, or
Yes.
they do? Okay. And we still have our K-9 unit,
Yes.
okay? And it's active in the community,
Yes.
okay?
Harvey.
Harvey?
He's still sniffing for drugs. And I'll reiterate, we've seen a dramatic change in drug trends. This is from back to issue 1. The Metrich Task Force has a strong position encouraging the public to oppose issue 1. We've made great strides in trying to reduce overdoses and fatalities from that, but we've seen an increase in methamphetamine and cocaine actually being seized more often than heroin. So we still have to be vigilant on that front. Yes.
Chief, can you explain the difference between breaking and entering, burglary, and larceny?
Breaking and entering would be breaking into an unoccupied structure. Burglary would be an occupied structure, or a structure with a home that you'd expect to be occupied. And larceny is any kind of theft, from shoplifting at a store to taking something when somebody's not looking. Lifting a purse, lifting a wallet, theft without permission, theft by deception, other kinds of fraud.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a special thanks to Roger Rush. He donated, built a version of the Star Spangled Banner with a thin blue line, and it's now mounted in the lobby of City Hall in front of the police department. It's,
Quite beautiful.
it is
Yes.
very beautiful. In October, we have Spooktacular coming up, and the Police Explorers and the Police Auxiliary are looking forward to being part of that event with safety. And the Explorers continue to do a great job, and our membership in the Auxiliary is up, and we're very pleased with the work they're doing. And it seems like there's something else, there always is. And thank the media for cooperating with us. We send out the news release every day, and we appreciate your sharing that with the public. And anything we can do to keep the public informed, we'll keep doing it. Thank you very much.
Okay, any last minute questions? Mr. Trigger?
What's vice?
Vice, that would be drug related or gambling related or other unspeakable related. How about that? I'll keep it clean.
Okay, so there's a lot of numbers there, and it's, like you said, it is amazing to see how the numbers have changed, especially over the last 5 years for so many of these. And I think that we are very thankful for the community that we have our Safety Forces Levy that provides us with the money to have a very active police department. And they respond very quickly, as I learned the other night. So it's good to see these numbers. Good to see them. And tells a good story. Okay? Thank you. Anyone else to address council this evening? No one? We have no communications or petitions. Standing committee reports. We start with Mr. Truca. You'll get us started, please.
Okay. Bucyrus City Council joint regular committee meeting met Thursday, September 20th at 6 p.m. Members present were Mark McKeever, Kevin Myers, myself, Monica Sack, Doug Folk, and Andrew Schock. First order of business, Bucyrus City joint regular committee meeting was called to order by Truca at 6 p.m. Public participation Ken Lance of 2363 State Route 19, Steve Jones of 424 New Winchester Court, and Sherry Young of 2244 State Route 19, all of whom live just outside the city limits, said they were not interested in hooking up to city water. Law Director Rob Ratliff explained that the city cannot force city services on non-residents, and that annexation into the city by state law at the discretion of the property owner, or if a larger area is being considered for annexation, by the vote of those living in that area. Leslie Johnson of 3540 Crestline Road said she is interested in hooking up to city water as the wells at her residence have gone dry. Tom Shively of 5930 State Route 103 New Washington, who is a member of the Crawford County Joint Ambulance District, said that the building on Plymouth Street that the board leases from the city to house the ambulance service has some structural and cosmetic issues that need to be addressed. Myers, who serves as the council's representative on the ambulance board, said the matter will be referred to the Public Lands and Buildings Committee for a meeting on October 4th. Order of committee business. Public Lands and Buildings Committee met at 6:16 p.m. dealing with former McFarland trailer park. Public Lands and Buildings Committee was called to order at 6:16 p.m. by myself. Members present were Doug Fote, Mark McKeever, and myself as acting chairman. Number one, former McFarland Trailer Park, Christopher Perry of 3883 King Road, who is overseeing the demolition of the former McFarland Trailer Park on East Mansfield Street, asked for an extension to October 31st to complete the work. Given delays caused by the weather and keeping workers, Law Director Rob Ratliff explained that Perry's original agreement with the administration allotted 60 days to complete the work, which was later extended by 30 days. The agreement includes a financial penalty if the work is not completed within that time frame. Vote made a motion to extend Perry's deadline through October 31st with a second by McKeever. Motion passed by voice vote. No legislation is required. Truca recessed the Public Lands and Buildings Committee at 6:22 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the Public Lands and Buildings Committee minutes? Moving on, Health and Safety.
Service first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Service.
Okay.
Once again.
Service Committee met at 6:22 p.m. Members present were Doug Fote, Andrew Schock, and myself. Number one, Airport Grant. Kevin DeTrey, manager of the Port Bucyrus Crawford County Airport, explained that the FAA has received an extra $1 billion from Congress for fiscal years 2018 through 2020, which is it's dispersing in supplemental grants that are 100% funded by the FAA. Although the local airport was not given a priority designation for these grants, DeTrey said it would like to move forward with applying for a grant. Grave Eaton of Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly Incorporated explained what the airport would like to do with the grant funds should they be awarded. The first priority would be an extension of the parallel taxiway, followed by a replacement of the terminal building, and then a runway extension. Vote made a motion to request legislation authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly Incorporated to apply for a FAA grant for the airport, with a second by Schock. Motion passed by voice vote. Truca recessed the Service Committee at 6:39 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the service minutes? Okay, moving on to Health and Safety Committee. Myers?
Health and Safety Committee met at 6:39 p.m. to 6:41 p.m. Members present, Mark McKeever, Bruce Truca, Andrew Schock, and myself, Chair. Item number one, liquor permit transfer. Council was notified by the Ohio Division of Liquor Control of a liquor permit transfer from Donald Edward Reed to Matthew Shane Stone doing business as 98 Drive-Thru, first floor north portion, and Drive-Thru 710 North Main Street, Bucyrus. Police Chief Dave Kepke reported no objection to the transfer. McKeever made a motion not to request a hearing on the transfer with a second by Truca. Motion passed by voice vote. The matter now returns to the full council. Item number 2, ambulance service. Myers, who is council's representative to the Crawford Joint Ambulance District, said a new ambulance provider is set to begin service on November 1. He said he will ask for a referral at the next regular council meeting to discuss structural and cosmetic issues at the building on Plymouth Street, which the board leases from the city to house the ambulance service, and distributed photos of some of these conditions. Item 3, Myers recessed the Health and Safety Committee at 6:41 p.m.
Okay, thank you very much. First thing we need to do is, we need a vote from full council to not objecting to the transfer and not requesting a hearing on the transfer. I need a motion, please.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Wirebaugh, second by Mr. Truca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passed. Okay, we'll make note of that then and take care of it. Are there any questions or comments regarding the minutes this evening?
Just one correction, it's the Central Joint Ambulance District rather than Crawford.
Okay. Potting, Mr. McKeever?
Yes, fighting met Thursday, September 20th at 6 p.m. Started at 6:41 p.m. Members present, Monica Sack, Bruce Truca, Kevin Myers, and myself, Chair. The OPWC project for 2019 for Arrowhead Drive, the Service Safety Director, Jeff Wagner, explained that the administration would like to apply for its annual Ohio Public Works Commission grant to go toward the replacement of concrete with asphalt on a portion of Arrowhead Drive. Grantstetter Carroll Inc. estimates that the replacement would cost $345,000 lasting for 25 years. The city's share of the project would be $195,000, with $185,000 coming from the OPWC. Myers made a motion to request legislation authorizing the service director to apply for the 2019 OPWC grant for $185,000 for the resurfacing of a portion of Arrowhead Drive, with a second by Truca. Motion passed by voice vote. He will recess the planning meeting at 6:48 p.m.
Any questions regarding the minutes from the plotting committee meeting? No one? Okay, moving on, thank you. Mr. Fode, Economic Development?
The Economic Development Committee met at 6:48 p.m. Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Members in attendance were Monica Sack, Mark McKeever, and myself, Chair. Number 1, we had Community Improvement Corporation. Law Director Robert Ratliff explained that a CIC for the city could be used as an economic development vehicle. The nonprofit entity allowed under the Ohio Revised Code could be used for the sale, lease, and/or development of properties transferred to it by the city without the properties being subjected to the normal bidding process the city must undertake. Ratliff distributed a sample ordinance and code of regulations. After some discussion, the matter was continued to the next joint regular committee meeting on October 4th. So recess to Economic Development Committee at 7:04 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding economic development minutes? No one? Moving on, Finance Committee, Ms. Sack?
Finance Committee met at 7:04 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. Members present were Kevin Myers, Andrew Schock, and myself, Chair. Number 1, airport grant. The FFA has received an extra $1 billion from Congress for fiscal years 2018 to 2020, which it is dispersing in supplemental grants that are 100% funded by the FAA. Although the Port Bucyrus Crawford County Airport was not given a priority designation for these grants, it would like to move forward with applying for a grant. The Service Committee has requested legislation authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, Inc. to apply for the grant. Schock made a motion approving the request with a second by Myers. Motion passed by voice vote. 2, OPWC project for 2019 for Arrowhead Drive. The administration would like to apply for its annual Ohio Public Works Commission grant to go for the replacement of concrete with asphalt on a portion of Arrowhead Drive. The Planning Committee has requested legislation authorizing the Service Safety Director to apply for a 2019 OPWC grant for $185,000 for the resurfacing of a portion of Arrowhead Drive. Myers made a motion approving the request with a second by Schott. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 3, various appropriations. Auditor Joyce Schiffer reported that the following appropriations need to be made. A, from unappropriated general funds, $3,400 to Program 7, General Government, 7725, 7726, 7727, and 7728. Law Director, 23 contractual services to pay the county prosecutor's offices for services rendered. B, from unappropriated fire department donation funds, $6,925 to 276 fire department donations, 7115 fire department, 25 capital outlay for the purchase of new thermal imaging cameras. A donation has been received from the Aladdin Shriners Hospital in Cincinnati. Schott made a motion to request legislation making the various appropriations with a second by Myers. Motion passed by voice vote. 4, authorization to pay. Schiffer explained that the legislation is needed authorizing her office to pay the county prosecutor's office an amount not to exceed $6,200 for services rendered without the customary purchase order in place. Myers made a motion to request said legislation with a second by Schott. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 5, street levy. The city dedicates a 0.5% of income tax collected to maintenance and repair of the city's streets via a levy that comes up for renewal every 6 years. For the next renewal in May 2019, council will have to pass 3 pieces of legislation at least 90 days before the May primary. The matter was continued. Number 6, SAC recess the Finance Committee at 7:15 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the minutes of the Finance Committee? Okay, you'd like to continue for us, Ms. Sack?
Number 4, public participation. The keeper asked Service Safety Director Jeff Wagner if the administration is still proceeding with extension of a water line along County Road 35 east of the city. Wagner said engineers are surveying the area and that he is still working on soliciting interest in hooking up the line from property owners there. 5, SAC asked for a motion to adjourn the joint regular committee. Motion by McKeever and second by Myers to adjourn at 7:18 p.m. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you very much. Busy evening with all the committees. Okay, Traffic Commission. Mayor Reeser.
We are here tonight to read the Tuesday, June 12, 2018 Traffic Commission meetings. Present were SSD Wagner, Captain Greg Stevens, and Chief Keller. And Mr. Wagner made a motion, seconded by Keller, to approve the minutes from April 16, 2018 Traffic Commission meeting. That passed. Items of business with the ODOT traffic study. There were 5 items that ODOT recommended certain speed limits. 90-day trial on Marion Road has ended. All state speed limits will be resumed. Mark Baker is working with ODOT to do a traffic study on West Mansfield Street. The bridge to the city limits on Southern Avenue, that was tabled, waiting for Mark. Number 2, various intersections, Lucas, Liberty, and Center Street and Poplar Street were brought to our attention. About some parking limitations, and they were addressed over the summer. At our last meeting, we were discussed. It was tabled at that time in June. Failer and Wheeler, there was a 3-way stop sign requested at the intersection of Failer and Wheeler, and that was tabled. We discussed courthouse crosswalks and about completing some of the signs and about making sure they were painted correctly. Mr. Dunn was in charge of that. Lynn Avenue, residents of Lynn Avenue requested a dead-end sign to traffic. Mr. Dunn took care of that. Flashing lights in the square. We had a complaint from Mr. Dave Jury. That at night, semi-trucks, they have some difficulty navigating. That was tabled. Mary Street parking, Bob Bassel asked to remove all the parking on the north side of Mary Street. Mr. Dunn was checking into the alley, so we'll see if that could be removed next. It was tabled. Street and alley vacations, the law director referred to the planning commission and planning committee and traffic commission street and alley vacations off Lane Street for the soccer fields. We sent a letter of approval to the planning committee. We had some new business. Mr. Dunn reported traffic lights and turn lane markings have been removed at Mansfield Spring. Chief Keller presented a letter from Lieutenant McNutt about making emergency services parking on Plants Way. We tabled it, waiting for Avita. Stevens made a motion, seconded by Wagner, to send a letter to Health and Safety to amend the traffic control map to have no parking in the west curb of Spring and West Mansfield and the south side of West Mansfield Street for 215 feet. And to add the existing TCM entry number 2778 dated June 17th, 1964. And parking will be allowed from 216 to, will be increased from 216 to 490 feet. Keller made a motion, seconded by Stevens, to send a letter to Health and Safety Committee to amend the traffic control map to remove the right and left turn lanes on West Mansfield Street, Spring Street. Ordinance number 45-206, dated October 17, 206, that passed. Wagner made a motion, seconded by Keller, to send a letter to Health and Safety to amend the traffic control map to remove the turn lane on West Mary and Poplar Street. Ordinance number 44-89, dated June 21st, 1989. And 34-2004, dated August 24th, 2004, and that passed also. Wagner made a motion, seconded by Keller, to send a letter to Health and Safety Committee to amend the traffic control map to establish 127 feet of eastbound turn lane on West Mary Street and North Sandusky Avenue. That motion passed. Captain Stevens reported that Bucyrus Elementary would like another crosswalk on East Street, 514 South East Street. This will eliminate one parking space. Mr. Dunn will have this added to the painting and street list. Old business, Mr. Wagner made a motion, seconded by Keller, to remove the no Jake break item from the list. Motion passed. Stevens made a motion, seconded by Keller, to adjourn 11:20, and motion passed.
Any questions regarding the minutes from the Traffic Commission report? No one? Okay. I need a motion then to accept the committee minutes and related committee reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sacks, second by Mr. Trucca to accept the committee minutes and related committee reports collectively. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. We have a report of city officers. We'll start with the mayor.
Thank you, thank you, Madam President. We've set the date for Spooktacular, and make sure you save it, because it's going to be spectacular. It'll be held at all Miller Park, as we have been the last few years. Rain date will be the following Saturday. Thank all involved who put on this great event for the children of Bucyrus, including sponsors, many sponsors, fine businesses, service organizations, that not only contribute money but take part in it, and it's so important. We still could use funds and volunteers, so please call the mayor's office. I know that group is meeting quite quickly, quite often, and they've got 2 weeks to go. So please give us a call at 562-6767 to volunteer. And if you would like to donate, just call that number. We'll tell you how to do that too. And do check this made out too. The third edition of the Mayor's Roundtable is now on the air, according to our producer and director, Mr. Gary Hess. And special guests this week were Captain Steve Sargo from the BFD and Betsy Gerhardt from MV Subculture. We discussed upcoming Linda Friend Memorial Spooktacular event. It was a great event. Betsy brought a couple of very interesting characters. One that they purchased, one that her partner Matt made. And it's a pretty cool show. I think you'll enjoy it. And thanks to Captain Stargo for the IAF for spearheading the event. Next month's edition will include elected officials who explain the purpose of their position, as well as personal information about themselves. Every elected official will have the opportunity to appear on the program over the next few months. The first month, which will be for November, will take the last week of October, will be none other than Council President Sis Love and Council Clerk Todd. Did I ask you already? Oh, I'm sorry.
Formally asked.
You're asked, so
Yes. And then I think if we have time, we'll get our auditor in there, because since it is budget, Joy Schiffer, budget season, she can explain, the multifaceted things that she does. So okay, I'll get back with you. Consider yourself asked. All right. I think it'd be interesting for people to know, and then every council member will have a little chance to, in upcoming episodes, we'll probably do maybe 2 at each meeting, each taping, and go from there. Finally, the Community Unity Project is complete, and a ribbon cutting will be held soon. Thanks to all involved who made the art possible. Kelly Patterson developed the idea and brought it to fruition. It was from all the schools involved, the art teachers, and enthusiasm, and lots of talent there. I mean, if you look at the artwork, October 11th. Oh, October 11th? Oh, I'm sorry, 5:30. That ribbon cutting, we're editing this, October 11th at 5:30. It'll be held at the Community Unity Mural, so please come over for that. So anyway, thanks to everybody who did that. I think it'll be a nice photo op. Like our other murals, you see people stopping, and I think it will be too, and it's pretty nice kickoff. It's got our bicentennial, possible bicentennial logo there too, so. And I think it's one other thing, but I can't quite remember what it was. Oh, Friendship Bridge. The Friendship Bridge repairs are complete. I know it's in Jeff's report here too, but I want to add that 3 people spent yesterday staining the Friendship Bridge. I went out in the afternoon. It looks great. That was Val Sprague, Don Wilson, and Ken Cameron. So if you go out there and see one of those folks, thank them for their volunteer work. And also keep in mind that the woods that was stained is old wood. The new wood from the accident has to cure for a little while, for probably a year before we can stain it. So don't wonder why we didn't stain that. So I think that's it. Thank you, Madam President. We'll see you at the taping.
Yes, we will. Anyone have any questions for the mayor then this evening? Mr. McKeever?
Yes, I would like to ask how the progress is about Fairview, Marion Road, Beale Avenue, the no right turn on Fairview.
It was brought up in Traffic Commission, the meeting this week. I had to check the notes to see what was decided on that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to know what the progress was.
I'll get with you.
And the other question I have is, I've been approached by several people who live south of Hopley off of Whetstone or on Whetstone.
Okay.
They're having trouble getting through that Hopley-Whetstone intersection, saying Whetstone's duration is rather short.
Is it, okay. Well, Mr. Dunn, I did bring it up to Mr. Dunn. He said it should be around 10 seconds or a little more than that.
Well, that's why they're wondering if you could extend that time just a little bit, like maybe 20 seconds. I mean, if
Yeah. So let me check into it. And I think what I'll do is just go out and time it myself.
Okay. I don't know. I had several people approach me about that, and they travel that quite often.
Especially if you got somebody turning left on Whetstone heading east, it
Or
can
the
be-
other way.
Yeah, or left, yeah. So that could be an issue. So
Right.
I'll get back with you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the mayor? Mr. Wireball?
Yeah, I just wondered if we had an update on the park projects that,
The bid, we have one bid for the pool,
yeah.
and that should be started anytime. I spoke to the Richland seal coating Friday about the pickleball courts, and he said he just needs about 3 days with no rain in the forecast to get it done. And we haven't had a lot of rain here. There's other areas that have had a lot of rain, but we've had rain in the forecast. Like for today, it was supposed to rain all day, pretty much since, but we got nothing basically. So he's got to wait till it dries out. So it's
All right.
they're 2 big projects.
As long as you don't forget about it.
Yeah, no, we didn't forget about it. There are we're following up on them.
Any other questions for the mayor? None? Okay. Moving on, Service Safety Director's report. Are you going to read it, or you want?
I will read it. You want me to?
Go right ahead.
Okay, aggregation of, if you look on your bills, you can see where the rates that we receive for the aggregation for the city, the aggregation rate. Gas is beginning December 6th, it's going down to 0.436 cents. Electric, with the AEP Energy, the new rate will begin December 1st, 2018, and it's going to last for 36 months. Actually, both of them for 36 months. At 0.05498, those rates are both decreases. If you are currently enrolled in the aggregation program, you will not need to do anything because it will roll over to the new rate. If you want to enroll in the program, just contact our office. We will give you the details how to do that. I would caution you, I get solicitations at home, in the mail primarily. but you also get them on the door-to-door circuit. Make sure if somebody gives you a rate, ask how long it's guaranteed. If they're gonna give you new rates, chances are it's gonna be below this rate. They'll look at your rate, but they may only give you a month or 3 months, and it goes to a variable rate. Ours is a fixed rate, and it's really the best, I think, the best rate out there. So don't be swayed, and if you have any questions, you're not sure, don't sign on the dotted line until you come up and ask us. So we don't, if you want to sign with somebody else, that's fine. It's not, we just want to make sure you get the lowest rate. The Plymouth Street project is on schedule, some curbing left to do, especially in front of my house. The milling should start next Monday or Tuesday. Sidewalks and aprons will be the following week. I noticed they're building knee walls, they look really nice. I don't set my alarm clock anymore. I wake up to the beep, beep, beep of all the trucks going up and down at 7 or 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. So, and it's going to be really nice about the end of the month. It's coming along. We have a couple issues on Southern Avenue about some dirt here and there and ponding, and our engineer is going to be in town tomorrow to look at that. Still a little patching. North Sandusky has not been finished yet. Don't worry, it will be finished. There will be some patchwork done before the weather turns, we promise you. We know it's a mess up there in some spots. And you may have noticed that the parking lot at City Hall is now striped, so that looks nice. Mr. Wagner will be attending an ODOT meeting on Friday in Ashland. They're going to be going over future projects. As I said, the Friendship Bridge repairs are complete. It's open for walking. Garth Hoover of Solid Rock Repair did a fine job on it. And engineering company out of Columbus is coming back for one more inspection. And we have been reimbursed for this by the insurance company for the inspections and repairs. So leaf pickup will not begin until November 1st. If you need to take leaves out before that, take them to the compost site. And the hours on that are Mondays and Wednesdays from 8 to 2, Saturdays 8 to 1. And there'll be a schedule for the leaf pickup posted on our website. You can bag out your leaves, bag them and put them with the regular trash too if you want. There's an additional fee for that. Traffic light rebate, have a good announcement. We received a check back for $5,184. Eric Clady, who is our engineer, our maintenance man, our electrician, maintenance man. He submitted the application for the traffic light rebate through ABP, and that's a fantastic check. If you look at what it takes to make $5,000 for the city, it's about $250,000 of income for the city workers, for the workers in the city. So it's a substantial amount, really, if you think about it. So we thank Eric for that. I'm glad to get any of those rebate checks. Health fair was that last week. We had flu shots, biometric screenings. It was a success. Trick or treat is going to be held on Wednesday, October 31st from 5 to 7. And we are accepting applications for general labor within the city of Bucyrus. Those applications may be picked up in the mayor's office until October 19th. And I think that's Mr. Wagner's report. It's a lot going on there.
Right, any questions regarding the report? None? Brian? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Tricker?
Oh, I just wanted to add that I had met with Mayor Reeser and Jeff Wagner, and we discussed the water filtration plant. The 3-inch water line is not in yet, but they said that they will be putting it in before the end of the year. And then something about installing 4 water services on Beach Grove Road.
What, you need 35?
Oh, no. Aren't we installing some 4 hookups on Beach Grove Road?
I don't know that. I couldn't give you, there's a water line there. I don't, we installed some last year. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I couldn't give you the answer on that. I can let you know though, since I asked Mr. Wagner.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Moving on, Law Director, Mr. Rattler.
Thank you, Madam President. I don't really have anything tonight, so back to you.
Does anyone have any questions for the law director
Could you
tonight?
repeat that?
Okay, moving on with the auditor.
Thank you, Madam President. I do have a few things tonight. You have a statement of cash position for the end of September. And the income tax revenues, they've been kind of up and down. We're expecting October to be a good month because anyone who got an IRS extension, their returns are due the 15th of October, plus we have our quarterly withholdings that are due the 15th. So we're going to have a busy time. And then also the revenue tallies to budget. You will note that the utility funds are down. That is because we're only showing 3 weeks of revenues because of the new software downstairs. They were unable to post the last week of the month until Friday afternoon. So I had them give me their numbers as of the 21st, and that's what we rolled with. So October will be a good month for the utility numbers too. And then I also have some referrals, the ever popular referrals. We need to appropriate from unappropriated general funds in Program 7, General Government, $77.50 for the maintenance utility worker, personal services, the sum of $14,800 to cover salary and benefits for the rest of the year. The reason for this, and it kind of tanked when I was out because of my surgery, and I didn't discover it until I was doing month ends. We were still paying the previous maintenance utility worker for the first 2 months of the year. And then the previous maintenance utility worker had single coverage. The new person has family coverage, and that made a big difference in the personal services. So we need to take care of that. And then also in 7757, which is the zoning administrator, personal services, we need $2,757 to cover this position. And that's due to the previous zoning administrator moving on to a new position, and he'd been with the city over 10 years, so he had a buyout. So we need to replenish the line for the person in that position now. And then we need to appropriate from unappropriated waterworks funds a sum of $45,000 to 7526 waterworks lands and buildings, 23 contractual services. These funds are needed to clean the lime lagoons at the new water filtration plant. These lagoons are smaller than what we had at the old plant, and they need to be cleaned every year. And we've been running for a year now, so we need to get that in place. And then number 3, I would like to refer our resolution accepting rates from the County Budget Commission so that we can act as soon as I get that paperwork. I do not have it yet, but I'd like to have it in committee because it may be due by the end of October, so we need to have it ready to roll.
Okay, any questions or comments about the referrals from the auditor this evening? We need a motion then to do these 3 referrals from the finance, to the finance committee. Unappropriated money from the general fund for the maintenance utility worker and zoning administrator. Also unappropriated waterworks funds, $45,000 to clean the lime lagoons. And also refer the resolution accepting the rates from the County Budget Commission. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Foth, second by Mr. McKeever. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. We have those there. That statement of cash position is dated September the 30th, and we'll approve that. It's there for you to look at. We'll look at it or approve it next time. Anything else for the auditor? Nope. Treasurers, you have the Treasurer's report for July of 2018 and August of 2018. They're there for you to look at. We'll just approve those next meeting. We've already heard from the police chief. We have nothing from the fire chief. I have a motion then to accept the city officers' reports.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Myers, second by Mr. Schock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Okay, visitors' input regarding reports of standing special committees and of city officers. Does anyone wish to address council this evening? No one? For consideration of proposed legislation for the first time.
We have 4 pieces of legislation, 1 ordinance and 3 resolutions. Ordinance number 43, 2018, amending and supplementing ordinance number 57, 2017, being the annual appropriations ordinance for 2018 by appropriating from unappropriated general funds the sum of $3,400 to the contractual services line item within the law director category within the program 7 general government subparagraph. And finally appropriating from unappropriated fire department donations funds the sum of $6,900